Okay, so we are live. Wonderful. It's an odd time of the day to do a live stream. I realize that, but that means that most of you will be watching this on replay. Now, I'm going to talk about the rise of belief in witchcraft, which, it makes me kind of smile and laugh a little bit because it's silly, but actually, you might be surprised to learn this, but 40% of the world's population believe in witchcraft. Now, a definition is needed here. By witchcraft, we are not talking about, um, let's say, the modern form of some women. They like to call themselves witches, and you have Wicca, I think it's called. We're not talking about that at all. We're not talking about taking back ancient pre-Christian traditions and so on. That's not witchcraft. We're not talking about that. We are talking about the idea that some people have the power to inflict harm upon others by using sorcery. Like, think medieval times, witch process and things like that. Okay, just to make that very clear. And there's been a poll that was recently published, and I'll just say hello and good morning or good evening or whatever it is to the good people here. And yeah, so there are girls and who claim that they are witches and so on, and that's fine, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about the belief in old-fashioned witches from the fairy tales, witches who will inflict harm upon others by using spells and magic. So let me just find the report here. So okay, so 40% of the world's population, as far as we know, believe in witchcraft, which I have now defined. So I won't do that again. And the trend is that more and more people start believing in witchcraft, and this is a problem not in our part of the world, here in Europe and northern North America and so on. It seems to be a problem in poor countries, and this poll was not. It doesn't include all countries, so that India and China is not included. I think you would have some interesting results from those areas, and there are some Middle Eastern countries that are not included, Australia not included, and some just a few African countries that have not been included. But the trend is that in countries where people get education, very few people believe in this. So in Sweden, you have 9% believing in witchcraft. But in Tunisia, we say in Norwegian, Tunis, that African country, 90% believe in witchcraft. So let's see here. In those areas where people believe in witchcraft, where lots of people believe in witchcraft, what tends to happen is exactly the same as what happened during in Europe during the Dark Ages, during the medieval times. I mean, where the church would kill people, torture and kill people. And that was very often based on accusations from other people. Um, and it is horrible what's happening. Um, just now, recently, the summer of 2022, um, there was an incident, or several actually, on Papua New Guinea. 9 women were accused for um, using sorcery to kill a person, and they were burnt alive, these women. And they were tortured. 5 of them were tortured before they were burnt alive. Yeah, well, it's unclear here. Some of them, I think, maybe survived or got away, but at least 5 of them, 4 of them, sorry, they died. And I'm looking at some photos here that I can't show on YouTube. Horrible scars from burns, and there was a woman here called Rachel, mother of 2. She was accused of being a witch and was tortured by yeah. I'll I won't get into details. I'm just looking at horrible pictures here. And this seems to be, the report also says that this seems to be a problem, as I mentioned, in countries where people really don't get much education. And also, it seems to follow, it seems to be an increasing problem connected to Christian and Muslim movements, or is the word sects or cults. So we're not talking, of course, about mainstream Christianity or mainstream Islam even, but sects or cults based on those ideologies, if you will. And people are burnt alive. And it is worst. It seems like it's worst in Africa. Very often you will have children who are accused for this as well, and they will be, yeah, you get what I'm saying here. And it is an increasing problem, and it's people who work with this, scientists who do research on this, they are trying to say that something needs to be done. And there are organizations working to fight this, and human rights organizations and so on. But it's not looking good right now. So again, as I've said before many times, it is important that education is given to everyone, because where people are lacking in that department, very often you get superstition and yeah, you get this instead, you know. And I think it's fine. Religion is fine, you know. No, I have no problem with that, as long as it doesn't result in things like this, of course. But very often it seems to be used as the ideological background for horrible things like this. Yeah, well, the report says no, it's not. Let's see here. I'll just get my glasses. Yeah. Sorry. Yes. Arnold Riek says real bad. So not because of polytheistic religious people, but because of sects from the monotheistic religions. Yes, that is what the report says. Now, I will link to, I actually forgot now, but I will I will put a link in somewhere, either in the comment section or yeah, I think I'll put it in the comment section or the video description after this live stream. It is in Norwegian, but there are graphs and images there that you will understand. Oh, is that Monty Python, Michael? Glasses, which, yeah, well, I think that was from Monty Python, if I remember correctly. Okay, so it's the fact that this is getting worse is horrible, of course, but it's interesting. I mean, why is that? And the report doesn't say why. It only points to the fact that there's a correlation between lack of education and the belief in witchcraft. As I said, in Sweden, just to use that as an example, 9% believe in witchcraft, which I think is a bit strange. Why is it 9%? It should be 0%. But maybe those people who replied, maybe they were thinking about something else. I don't know. But of course, there's a large part of the large part of the population in Sweden has immigrant background, so maybe that's the explanation. 90% in Tunisia. Do you say Tunis or do you say Tunisia? 90% believe in witchcraft. That's disturbing. That's properly disturbing. So again, we're not talking about Crowley is mentioned here, so that would be Satanism, modern, Satanism and all that. We're not talking about that, and we're not talking about Wicca. And this report is very clear on, this report is very clear on what is meant by witchcraft. I started this live stream defining what is meant by witchcraft, and I'll just quickly say it again, but I won't say yet another time. Witchcraft is defined as the belief in, or belief in witchcraft is defined as the belief in that some people have the power to use sorcery and spells and so on to inflict harm on others. So we are not talking about the more, modern New Age thing there. Okay. Yeah, the proper Dark Age, medieval style witchcraft like you've seen in the movies, Actually, yes, that's what we're talking about. Yeah, and as I said, 40% of the world's population believe that that's a thing, and that is disturbing. Now, so I would like to discuss what can be done about this. I mean, I feel that this is something that we should have moved away from. I feel that this is something that I thought I talked about I talked about microplastics in my video on the main channel yesterday, actually, and I said that this is something that we should all be able to agree on. Apparently not, but this one at least is something that we should be able to agree on. It shouldn't be a thing at all. And I think the answer is education. the answer is to provide everyone with education. Of course, if you go to some Muslim countries, girls are not allowed to go to school, and yeah, so it's a bit of a problem there, to put it mildly. So let's see here. Yeah, and also it it's not a problem that is being observed in the polytheistic religions or in societies where people have a polytheistic or nature-based belief system, but it seems to be linked to Christian or Islamic sects, or I hope sect is a word in English. I got a bit doubtful about that now, but yeah. So that's what the report says, and I'll link to it, as I said. Now, sect is correct. Okay, thank you, or cult, I guess. Yeah. So these people, something bad happens to someone, and then they start blaming, typically women and children. So it's really disgusting, because they blame the how should I put it, the weaker individuals in society. Not saying that women are weak, but you know what I'm trying to say here. So, and these children are either killed or tortured and killed, or they are driven away um, from their families. So, yeah, I think when this says sect isn't necessarily a cult, more a subgroup of a religion. Yeah, I think sect is the right word then. Yeah. Um, yeah, okay. Now we can joke about this all day long, but I don't think we should, because it's a real problem, and it's becoming a bigger problem according to this report. And people are being tortured, they're being killed, they're being burnt alive. We need to wake up to this fact. And as I said, I can't even show you the images. That yeah, I can't show you those images. It's horrible. It's just so horrible. So going to keep this live stream short, unless you have some questions concerning this. I mean, it's I asked, how can we get rid of this? How can we make this stop? I guess we can't, but I think I answered my own question when I said that education is the key, you know. And this is something that is observed mostly in poor countries, and it's just very sad. And you will have these individuals that will take opportunity of superstition and all. It's not, there is nothing new about this, but I was hoping that we had moved away from this. Yeah. Okay. Drinkwater says, is it adults being witches? Well, yeah, they are being accused of witchcraft, yes. So, yeah, and again, people saying that they are witches, but typically women today, That has nothing to do with this. Um, they will. It's a bit of a new age thing, I think. Nothing wrong with that, if you want to define yourself as a witch, that's how you connect with nature and so on. That's fine. That went across now. Okay, so have a wonderful day, and we'll talk later.